What a nice intro. What a beautiful intro to start this video off. You know, I got my window open, okay? It is September 8th. It's starting to feel a little bit like fall. You know, I'm in the northeast, okay, of the USA, northeast of the USA, and I gotta say, wonderful turn of events we're having here. You know, the trees down the block, you know, they're the first ones to turn, you know, colors, so it really gives you a good perspective on, like, you know, time is passing. Time is passing. So, the main topic for today's video is my initial thoughts on college. And the subtopic for this video will be how to manage generalized anxiety and how to manage anxiety that revolves around time frames. So hey, this is me in post, after recording. I don't go over how, but I just kind of ease your mind a little bit about the whole thing, right? Because anxiety can be really hard to deal with, but ultimately it's up to you to figure out how to deal with your own anxiety because everyone has different vices. So, let's get back into the actual discussion. I'm in college now. I think it was May of this year, right? It's 2024. May of this year, I went over, did a tour of a nice community college, and I enrolled. Me and my mom were, you know, we were really talking about it like you do, you know, with your parents when you're, you know, getting towards the end of high school. You start talking more and more about, do you want to go in-state, out-of-state? You want to save on tuition? You want to get financial aid? You want to do all this stuff? Do you even qualify for financial aid? You know, these things, right? You start thinking so much about it, but it isn't until you really go in, do a tour, talk to a counselor, and get registered. Just like throw yourself into it, right? It's a trial by fire, right? Exposure therapy. You know, you throw yourself in, and all of a sudden you're in. You're really in it to win it. Now, the reason why this is so achievable for me is because I save a lot on tuition because I'm going to community college first instead of university. Just to, you know, get an associate's. I'm going for graphic design. Well, actually, digital media communications. But I think one of my biggest anxieties was just like everything, like, because you hear so much noise in high school. High school is just noise. They just present you these things that you have to get through, and because of their policies, they try to rush you along. They have you set these like really tight schedules, but the key to getting through high school is understanding that college is everything you want high school to be. You choose every single class that you take and what time you take it. Okay, like really, they might give you those options in high school, right? High school is nowhere near as flexible as college because, number one, you are almost forced to advocate for yourself in high school because they want to plant those seeds, like, you know, within your head. But in college, they don't really care. You're not forced to advocate for yourself. If you could supply for yourself, if you could really provide for yourself in a college environment that you choose the pace of, that's up to you if you want to get help on things, but you are really encouraged to advocate for yourself all the time in high school, and it makes it stressful. It's just another voice onto this cesspool of just like people talking around you, your teachers saying this and that, maybe navigating friendships here and there. You know, all that high school drama, that stuff does not matter. It doesn't matter. Social media doesn't matter outside of high school. You know, I deleted Snapchat. I deleted most of my Instagram accounts. So I used social media as a vessel for all of my stress during high school. And I realized, like, after, like, no one cares. No one cares. If you don't own a business, no one cares, okay? Social media, like I said in my last video, social media is strictly used for like networking purposes. And if you have a brand or a message that you need to send out to people, right, that you really want people to hear and you're willing to pay for that promotion, right? Or just like really brute force your way through the algorithm somehow, if you post on the right days, that's up to you. But it doesn't matter when you get out of high school, because no one's stalking you. No one's gonna go back and try and stalk you. Like maybe a few people, obviously there's a reunion that happens at some point, but no one's going back and stalking you immediately after you leave high school. I think that's what's important, is because you don't need so many accounts. You don't need all that stuff. Like obviously it's good to cope with, because it just gives you sort of an audience. Like I forget what it was called, like an inner audience. Like your whole life is just treated as a show by your head. Like I do that all the time. Okay, here I am correcting myself. It is imaginary audience, and social media really enhanced that. In like my high school years, like junior and senior year, was just brute forcing it. It was just a massive 2-year-long session of dissociation. And when I left that place, the only thing I really remembered was like sophomore year, freshman and sophomore year, and maybe a little of junior year. But like, dude, my senior year, I did so many things, and I started experimenting with my free will closer to the end, because dude, I turned 18 like towards the end of my senior year, and it just makes it just adds on to the noise of high school. But then you get out of high school and it's like, wow, so this is what free will really feels like. You have a whole summer to yourself. That's the last summer. And then you gotta hammer the books. And then you gotta start working part-time or full-time, because if you don't, you know what happens? You get ousted. Okay? Never get unemployed. Now, something I should mention is that this video is for the people who have gone through high school, like completed high school. Now, if you haven't, that is totally fine. It is totally fine. If you have your GED, that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want with your life, because I have friends that really couldn't finish high school because their families were struggling, okay, and they needed to provide. They needed to hurry up and get into adulthood. They needed to lie to get where they were. And that is, well, I'm not gonna say it's fine to lie to get where you are, especially on like government forums and things like that. Like, you can't lie about your age to make higher wage, because it's not ethical. But if you need to, people are gonna do what people do, okay? They're gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? Because that is not a struggle I personally faced, but I know people who have faced that struggle, and they had to drop out of high school, just because they couldn't manage everything. They get to be too much, or they just want to go off and be creative. They want to do their own thing. Because I could speak personally, high school suppressed me so much. They just suppress that creative desire. Since I'm in, like, my only class I'm taking right now in my community college is Intro to Graphic Design, and I have never been happier with an art class. Like the high school art classes, the middle school art classes, oh my god, they kill me, bro. They kill me so much. They kill me, because they'll try to fit creativity into a guideline. They give you guidelines for your creativity, and obviously you have to draw a box, work in that box, right, and then burst out of the box on your own terms. But you have to burst out of that box on other people's terms, which is why high school art classes don't work, okay? Now, it's good to meet people in high school art classes, that's for sure. It's really good to meet people there. But it's not actually good to demonstrate your abilities in high school, because, unless you're in a club, clubs do work. Clubs definitely work, and they bring you closer to people, because people remember that. I still remember all of the clubs I was part of in middle school. Those kind of after school activities that bring you closer with people, it's a lot like work, and how like the Japanese have this thing, right, where you go out after work and drink with your colleagues because it brings you closer. It's an actual tradition. It's an actual philosophy that the Japanese have, where it's like if you do that, you really become closer with the people around you. And because people have this inherent need to gather after a big event or a stressful day, we have also adopted that. And that's kind of where clubs come from, because humans have that need to gather, right? And teachers realize that, especially the ones with degrees in psychology, and they want to make a positive impact on the place that they're in, right? You become a teacher because you want to teach people, or you want to influence and mentor kids. And the best way to do that is through clubs, like, because that won't always shine through classwork and class discussion, because you have to constantly silence people. You have to tell them to talk, silence, talk, oh, go on your phone, don't go on your phone, because it's all that, because you always got to manage it. But after school, it's like seeing your boss when your shift ends, and he doesn't have to work anymore as well, so you're just chilling with him, Anyways, I got off track. Yeah, the high school art class, like, you have so much free reign over your life as soon as you get out of high school. And the reason why it's really good to stick with high school is because college is everything you want high school to be. Subtopic time. Subtopic time. We are stopping the main topic. Managing generalized anxiety, especially around school. Here's my thing. School itself can cause the anxiety. Your parents telling you things in this year and that year and this year and that year can also cause anxiety, right? But that's what they have to do. Your parents have to nag you about your schoolwork because it's a quintessential experience, right? If you don't go through that, then you won't have anything to reflect on, right? Because that's where all of the most important lessons come from. Building work ethic, finding ways to manage your schedule, finding ways to manage your time, because high school is hectic, right? High school is built to be hectic because they have no child left behind policies, which basically means that they try and pack them in to graduate in the same year. Pack them in meaning students, because there's no kid left behind, because once you're left behind, you're left behind. You know, most employers won't even ask about your high school education. They care about your degree, and even then some don't even care about your degree. But people still notice that kind of thing because it shows, okay? It shows in your mannerisms. It shows, like, you know, with how much your parents taught you, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it carries over. So they have policies for kids to graduate on time with each other, and that means that some have to really hurry their shit up, okay, and try and get in with the kids who are like set to be out, like with like D1 schools. Okay, they've got money, they've got like the power to push through their schoolwork, but other kids can't focus. And then the ones who can't focus get grouped in with the kids who can focus. And it's all part of the No Child Left Behind Act. And they don't have that in college because the time frame is yours to make at this point. Like, once you turn 18, you're going off to college, right? Cool. The time frame is yours to create. So you don't have to worry about any of that anymore. It's behind you. Okay, whatever classes you want to take, you could take at your own pace within reason. You have to take a certain amount of credits each semester in high school, and that still applies to college. But the minimum credits you have to achieve each semester of college are lower than high school, which gives you time and space to work on your homework, right? If you have like 2 classes a week, right? I do. I have like a class a week right now, and then I'm gonna have, for most of October, I have 2 classes a week. So the way it works out is you have so much free reign with the classes you take. You can schedule all of your math classes and your core classes, right, that are assigned to your major. You could schedule them for like next semester, right, later on in the school year. But you can do all of your creative classes the first semester. It kind of just works out, you know? So, long and short about the subtopic, managing generalized anxiety is easier than you think, especially outside of high school in that last summer that you get before college. Dude, just leave that stress behind. Leave those voices behind, okay? Like a metamorphosis. Like, really, Cardi was not lying. Okay, he said metamorphosis is real. It's real. Okay, and then, you know, with all that time frame stuff, success has no time frame. Chevy Chase has been acting his whole life. Now, granted, he's a pretty big asshole, okay? We know this, but that's his choice because he's had his whole life to be successful, and he got successful a little later, you know, and he realized it, you know? You take as much time as you need within reason, as long as you are not obstructing anyone from doing what they're doing, okay? If you are in someone's way, they will let you know, because now we all have free will. All adults here, okay? Or if you're not an adult and you want to be an adult, you gotta understand that sometimes you're gonna inconvenience people. And sometimes you have to, but it's best not to. You know, sometimes you have to. That's the hard reality. If you beat around the bush on everything, people are gonna notice, and that's an inconvenience in itself, because then they gotta talk to you about why the hell you're so socially awkward. Okay, so just be chill. Be real. Be real with yourself. Be real with the people around you. Okay. Anyways, don't be afraid to navigate life the way you want. You know, I'm a freshman right now. I'm a freshman. Alright, and I still got years ahead of me. But I'm spitting game right now because I just feel like more people need to know that success has no time frame. You spend all your life trying to cram things in, you're not actually gonna experience, right? You're not gonna give yourself enough time to process and experience. So just take it easy. Like 2 or 3, 4 classes a semester. That's up to you, okay? You know, they call it a 2-year, 4-year, 6-year, 8-year degree, right? If you really want to go that far with education, that's up to you. But you could take even longer on it if you don't have that kind of time, especially in community college. Like I'm coming from a community college perspective, okay? Because my school is particularly flexible. But I know that some other universities aren't. But in case yours is, or in case you're like, coming to the end of high school, okay, good luck. I think it's time for me to sign off at this point, right? Because I said all I needed to say. And just, a little Skate 3 in the background, never hurt anybody, like usual. But yeah, I think that's all for me. I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being you. Cue that outro.